Good morning. How are you? Can you hear me? Awesome. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing today? Good morning. So you said you could not, oh, you're half asleep. You couldn't see that image that I posted, Raymond? So yeah, I posted it earlier today in announcements. This is what it should look like. Can you see that now? Let me know if you can't see it still. Okay. Yeah, I mean on your end, you can see it on my end, but if you can't see it on your end, let me know. It might just be Canvas and how you're viewing it, because sometimes certain images do view and some of them don't on your end. Like I can see it, but sometimes students can't. So just let me know and I can fix it. So yeah, I posted that earlier today per your request. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. All right, well, welcome to week 3, live lecture 2. Let's get started here. You can't see the image. Okay, I'll just have to place it in a different way. Sometimes it doesn't read on your end, student end. If I place it, there's like 2 ways I can place the image. So I'll just have to do it the long way. So I'll do that after lecture here. All right. While we're going through, and if anybody else doesn't see images that you think should be in there, let me know, because I do have certain people that can see things and some people don't. So let me know and I can fix it. All right, so we're going to have an open critique session after the live lecture. If you need extra feedback, I know some other students said they were going to come in today for extra help. This might be a quick lecture because we went over a lot of information yesterday, and we only have to go over your assessment, which will be good because that'll give extra time if you want to show anything or go over anything. We'll do that at that time. All right, any questions right now before we get started that you have from the last time that we met? And sorry, Raymond, I'm picking on you right now, but more people might be coming in. No questions. Okay. All right, so let's get started. We'll get into your assessment 3, and then we'll go forward into pick away. We'll go right into the open critique, and I'll just leave it open, see if anybody comes in as well. All right, so the important part to remember always that when you design for a client, if you ever were to get an ad to design, this ad might be converted into many different sizes from the size that you started. So remember, you guys are to design a full page ad, which is pretty, that's pretty much the size that all of us designers like to design at if you're going to design an ad, because it's big. It's the biggest size that you can get in a magazine. So that's kind of like the winner of all sizes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's always kept at that size. Advertisers like to place multiple sizes into other publications to gain exposure, and sometimes they don't want to pay the full price of a full page ad. Full page ads can be really, really expensive, thousands of dollars. So, it makes sense for them to be picky about where they're going to be placing the ad and also the size of the ad, because budget-wise, it might not be in the budget to do so. But knowing how to convert the actual full page ad or any type of ad, to design it in a way that it's versatile and flexible enough to be sized into any other sizes is what's key. Also, knowing how to convert it from a print to a web ad is important to know those steps, because you don't want to just haphazardly design an ad and then expect it to be okay for the web without doing anything to it. There's things that you have to consider. Resolution, the resolution for print is different than it is for web. So print is what? Do you remember what resolution we like to stick at for print? Anything that we go to print. So you remember the resolution. Exactly, 300 dots per inch. Good. And then for web, it's different, right? What is it for web? $72. Yep, you got it. So when you're designing your ad, you're going to export it out in these the dots per inch based on web or print. Because web is shown on the screen, it doesn't have to have as many dots. And also, because it's shown on the web, you don't want it to be a really large file. It has to be a quick, accessible image so that it's not taking forever to upload whenever you open up a web page. Also, color mode is different. So for print, what's the color mode in print that you need to have it set to when you go to print? Remember the color mode? CMYK, good. So cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's the 4-color process. That's where they make, yep, an RGB for web, good. So you need to know those, conversions so that your print ad is set for the proper specifications and also the web ad. So super, super important. We'll go over that in a second here. As we go forward, once you're done designing your full page ad, you really have to start thinking of how you're going to create another very similar cohesive ad so it doesn't look like it's a different ad, but it's for web, so it'll be shown as a web ad, and it's going to be a different ratio, size ratio. So how are you going to make this look the same with a different size ratio? So I wanted to show you some examples of ads that were created in various different sizes for print and web, so that you can get an idea of how they kind of converted each size based on the design and kept it very cohesive. Okay, here is one particular ad. It's for the same service, Fat Cow, but I wanted to show you this because it's a great example of how you can keep that same ad, the same look, the same style, but design it in various different size options. There's some banner ads that are more long and horizontal, and some go as small as, a quarter of a page, but very thin banner ad, and that just goes right down to just having type in it. But it's holding the same stylistic parts of the ad. It's just kind of eliminating certain parts of the ad depending on the size. But for the most part, all of these have the same information. It's just kind of rearranging certain elements. So consistency is key. I shouldn't be looking at your full page ad and then looking at your web ads and it looks like two different campaign ideas. They should be the same. Love Fat Cow. Here's another one, Hummingbird, just another example of a great ad that kind of converts nicely. And notice that in these ads, like from the one from here, has a little bit more information, but it's pretty simple. This one is more simplified, but the more simple it is, the easier it is to convert, obviously. You don't want it to be too vague, though. You want to make sure this comes across that you understand what it is. Here you have a button saying free download, so this is for web for the most part. Maybe not so much the vertical ad in there because it doesn't have a little button. So just to give you some ideas of consistency here with different shapes and sizes of the same ad. Here's another one. And I would say this one is kind of print and web because you can see the banner ad at the bottom, and then the top can be for print as well. So keep it consistent. Some of you can see on the top, the body copy around the wine glass on the left and the right hand side disappears when it gets smaller. So you can take off some body copy as long as the ad still makes sense without it. You can edit those details out. You know, you don't want to just look at the ad with no information. It's really vague. You want to make sure people know what that brand is, what the service or product is, and know kind of a call out. Either call us is a call out, call today, have an actual email address and or phone number within the call out. So you want to make sure you're telling the person what you want them to do. Okay. So hopefully that'll kind of give you a good idea of, you know, how you can convert yours consistently and make it unifying still, but just in a different size. Okay, so let me open up my old file. I don't want to say old file, the file that we were working with yesterday, because I want to show you where I ended here. This is not it. Let me see here, open last project. Okay, so the last time that we met, I showed you, this was yesterday, I showed you how to create this full page ad and place it in your week 8. I'm sorry, not your week 8, your page 8 in your article layout. So you can place that in there. If you have not listened to the lecture from yesterday, definitely listen to it. I showed kind of some tips and tricks on what you can do. But once you're done, this is where you have to go forward with your assessment 3, which will be a conversion from print to web. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And go ahead and go through the background information here. It's just talking about how, you know, different ways to advertise, call to action, all the things that need to be within social media. You know, things that you think about whenever you do have a web ad that you add into your ad to kind of be aware of, the interactivity that you can have within your ad. So this is kind of all circling around your web ad. There's different offers, like banner ads, you know, like we just talked about, are used a lot for web designs, kind of placed in throughout different websites. So it just talks about things, keys to think about in your banner ad for this week that you should be aware of, visuals to make sure that you're placing in your ad, and call to action. We just talked about that. Keep it simple and have something to entice your message, a visual image to pull the person into. And don't forget, people are bombarded by advertising wherever you go. So in a banner ad should provide as much information as possible without overwhelming the visitor. Very important. You know, you want to attract somebody to the ad. You know how many times you've just like, it's almost like ads just pop up and you just ignore them. You become very numb to them sometimes. So you really want to make sure your ad pops out as much as it can amongst the rest, because there's so much competition out there. All right, hold on one second. Sorry guys, I just got something in my contact. Okay. So I'm pulling my contact out. Oh, I guess I have an eyelash in there. All right, I might have to take a little break here to pop that sucker back in, but let's go through this here. The prompts is basically you have created the full page magazine ad. We just talked about that, targeting a specific audience of subscribers who are interested in the products and services offered by the advertiser. Interested in generating additional revenue for their business, the advertiser would also like you to design a simple and engaging web banner ad targeting different audiences to sell their product and services online. You are not designing the web banner ad to replace their website. Instead, you need to research and identify proper techniques to convert the print media into web media. Just things to keep in mind. The user may only look at the ad for no more than 2 to 3 seconds. It's almost like a billboard ad. And to make a meaningful impression, your message must convey with a few careful chosen words. It makes or breaks the advertisement if the message you're trying to communicate isn't comprehended quickly. So trim your ad to include only text and imagery that make it clear to the viewer what product or service the ad is advertising. A simple banner will easily stand out on a cluttered background and will engage your audience at a more interactive level. All right, so basically what you're doing is you're taking these, and don't forget, you're going to be doing 2 ads, okay? So it says research and identify proper techniques to convert print media into web media using the dimensions listed below. So you're going to be doing a half-page ad at about 300 pixels wide at 600 pixels high. And then you're also going to redesign that to a large rectangle, 336 pixels wide by 280 pixels high. So 2 ads you will be designing. And you're going to apply the principles of design. So contrast, repetition, alignment, proximity, pay attention to. You need to have the required design elements within the ad. So you have to have the company logo, showcase the product service advertised in the full page advertisement, a call to action, CTA, that's short for, text or button, and one image that is directly related to your product or service. No problem, Christine. I just saw your chat here, Ray. Can you change images and have it still cohesive? I would say try to stick with the same image, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to. Like, as long as you keep everything else cohesive, you could probably switch around the image. That would really depend. Okay, so something has to be very consistent within all 3. But I've seen ads where you can swap out the image, but everything else stays the same. So, all right. When you're ready, Christina, whatever you finish, you could definitely rewatch here. You just missed about 20 minutes, so you're good. We just kind of did a little review. When you're done, you can export and save as a PDF. And what I would say, and I'm going to show you how to do this, is combine the 2 together so you're only submitting 1 PDF. So you'll have 2 PDFs when you export because they're going to be 2 different ads, but then you can combine them into 1 PDF, and I'll show you how to do that if you're not sure. Any questions about this before I go into the demo here? No questions. Okay, give me like 2 minutes here, guys. I gotta pop I just lost my contact here. It got something in my eye and I had to pop it out. So I'm working on one eye here. Let me go pop that in. It's like, it's just like an eyelash got in my eye or something. Let me go pop this back in and then I'll start our demo. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. Things that happen while you're doing live lectures. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, I have worked for many different ad agencies. I have over 20 years experience in my field. So I've worked for various ad agencies in Pittsburgh and Ohio. And I also work for a lot of publication companies. I worked for 3 magazines when I lived in Tampa. So I worked for Tampa Bay Wellness Magazine, Style Magazine, and also a luxury living magazine that was actually stationed in Naples. And that I did all online. I also worked for another publication in Ohio. So that was more of an aftermarket, automotive aftermarket magazine, but pretty big publication company in Ohio. So I have a lot of experience with working with not only advertisers, but within the publication company with ads that come in. So this actually happens a lot where an ad will be created either by you or a designer that sends you it to be plopped into a magazine, and then it needs to be resized, say for the next issue or for another publication, depending on budget and exposure, but what they want to show. Because sometimes they don't have the money to always have a bigger ad every month. If it's a monthly magazine, you know, they'll downsize it for certain periods. And publications offer different prices, and sometimes they'll have deals where you can save money based on size, and they'll sell it in bulk packages. So it depends on what the client wants to spend. But what I want to tell you is this is definitely something that I'm very familiar with getting an ad that I'll have to convert size-wise, and also convert it to a web ad based on what the client wants. And I think it's a fun challenge for a designer because especially if it's already designed, that's a real challenge, because sometimes you'll just get the flat working art from somebody. Like the client will just send you like a PDF of the ad, so you cannot edit it, right? Because it's a flat ad, but they tell you, okay, this is the size we want it that we paid for. But then the next month they're like, okay, well, we can't pay for that size, we want a smaller one. And you don't have the working file. The working file means the original file that it was created in. So that's the challenge, where you have to contact the client and say, listen, we need the working file in order to redesign this. And sometimes the clients say, we don't have that. So that's a challenge. And sometimes they will pay for you to redesign it. And that's, you know, obviously more work, but money for you and your company. So you have those instances too. But as far as the challenge goes, changing the size is kind of a fun challenge to see how you can manipulate all the elements into a different size. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of info of my history and just tell you how many times I've experienced that, because it's very typical of a situation where you convert the ad in a lot of different sizes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to share my screen here. That's why I love publication design, because you have so many different intricate parts that you can be involved in as a designer. You know, you're not only designing the magazine ad, you could be designing ads within it. All kinds of really different things that go along with publication design that people don't think about, that are kind of supplemental to the magazine as well. All right, so we designed, like I said, I designed this yesterday, the full page ad, and now I'm tasked. The client came to me and said, I want 2 different web ads now that we did the print ad, and I want them to be this size. So we go in and we say, okay, these are the sizes that you picked. Now you have to go and design that ad to be similar to these ads, only for web purposes, and they're different sizes. So the one different thing that you will do, instead of starting the design in InDesign, you're going to be designing it in Photoshop. Okay, so that's one big change for this assessment. So you will always kind of design well, you don't actually always have to design your ad in Photoshop for a web ad, but it's just easier because you know, you can manipulate the pixels and you can export it out all at the same time in the same program. All right, so once you open up Photoshop here, let's go File, New. And this is going to be the first ad, which is 300 pixels by 6. So 300 wide by 6. So make sure right here where the size ratios are, or the size measurements are set to pixels, and you can type in 300 by 600 high. Resolutions should be at 72, so that's perfect for web. And then this needs to be changed to RGB. Okay, click create. And there is the size ratio that you have for this particular ad. Let's go ahead and save this as your web ad. So let's do assessment 3, and we're gonna do ad 1. I'm just gonna name this ad 1, and I'm gonna make sure that this is a PSD file, so Photoshop, save. If you don't, and you just save it as a TIFF, it'll be a flat file, meaning you won't have layers in it. Okay, so this is the ratio you have here. Now, I just want to show you for purposes of size ratio, I'm going to import, just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and place that file that we did yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. Right here, this 8.5 by 11 file. I'm going to go ahead and place this in here. I just want to show you the size difference, and I'm just placing the PDF, so you can just see that, oh, the size is placing in there perfectly here. Hold on one second. Of course, because I didn't do it right. We'll go to layers. I'm going to do a file open instead here. 8.5 by 11, 300 pixels per inch. Okay, that just opened it into a new tab. I'm going to do a select all copy. I'm just going to do a place. Now, you can kind of see that, you know, it's kind of showing this in a weird way where it's placing it into mine. It's not showing what's on the artboard, but you can see how much bigger it is when I scroll around here based on this ratio. So what we want to do, we don't want to place it in like that. We want to kind of piece it together. Let's go to my history here. There we go. Okay. We want to piece it together. So I don't want to see you guys do this. And this is what a lot of you guys do. You place in that PDF like I showed you before, and then you stretch it to fit. Oh, it's not locking, so hold on a second. I do see a lot of this. Let me see if I can do, where's my layers here? This is showing as a smart guide or a smart layer. Let me rasterize this real quick. It's a smart object. Okay, now let's see here. I can scale this. It's still doing it proportionally, which is kind of funny. Let's go to distort. I do see a lot of this, which is a no-no. You know, hey, there we go. That works, right? No, right? That does not work. Why does that not work? Why does that not work? It's easy. It's distorted, right? So when you see an ad like this, you know the designer doesn't know what they're doing. It's a common mistake. It's just distorted. When you see a logo that's distorted, that's really bad because it's not going to be recognizable. There goes the clock. Okay, sorry, I didn't want you guys to hear my clock. So it's distorted. We don't want that, right? Your grandma used to have a clock like that. Yeah, my parents actually do. They still have the clock that when I was a little baby. Yeah, exactly. So what we want to do is we want to place the elements back in here, kind of rebuilding it. Oh, I love grandfather clocks. Those are so cool. Okay, so we want to go file place. And what we want to do, actually, before we do that, we want to make sure. So this is about, if you have this in inches here, this is about almost 4 inches by a little over 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up that original, remember that yogi girl picture, the original picture here? It's a JPEG. So save the original JPEG image that you downloaded for whatever image that you're using for your ad. Now you might have more than one image, so you'll have to do this a couple times if that's the case. So this is the original image before I even resized it and saved it out as a TIFF. So open up that original JPEG, go to image size. And what we want to do is we want to change this to the size that we have that new ad for. So it's about, we would do about 4.5 by 8.5 because it's close to 4 and 8, right? So we're going to change the resolution to 72. That's going to, size it considerably down. Inches, we're going to worry about the height more than the width, okay? Because we want it because it's more high than it is wide. So I believe we did 8.5, around 8.5 there. And then whatever this width is, we'll just leave it to be that same width. Look at the size difference. It went from 57 megabytes to 1.61 megabytes. Kind of crazy. Okay, we're gonna click OK. And then we're gonna save this image, go save as, because we don't want to ruin the original one, the image that we just did. And we're gonna save this as a JPEG because it's for web purposes. And we're gonna name this ad 1. And I'm gonna save this to the desktop so I know where it's at. Ad 1. Or you can, whatever you name it to know which one is which. JPEG's fine, click save. Then we wanna check what before we do anything? We did the resolution. We changed the size, now what? What do we have to check? The color mode, right? Because we don't want it to be RG or CMYK for web, right? We want it to be RGB. So just check that. Because it's the original image, it's already in RGB, so we're good. Yep. So we'll save that. We'll have to save it as PDF. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to our original, just tabbed over. We don't have to save it as a TIFF, just a JPEG for web purposes. That's the difference. Yep. Open this back up. This is your first ad. Yep. File, place. Embedded and linked are two different things. Embedded is if you want to embed an image without it being linked to a certain spot, like on your computer, it will embed it without any links to it. The only difference between embedded and linked, embedded will be a little bit bigger of a file because of that, whereas linked won't be as big of a file. It's good. Embedded is good if you don't want to attach the image to wherever you're sending it to. It's almost like, and I want to say this is PDF because it's a flat file versus like a working file. I'm going to do embedded just because I don't want to worry about syncing up any images. So embedded works for me. The picture is not as big anyway. So I'm going to go to add 1. And here it is placed in here. The only thing is what we want to do is we want to make this the size of the ad. Whoops. So we want to make this a little bit bigger. Let me zoom out here. And we don't want to do that here. There we go. So we want to hold down Option Alt and drag the bounding box up. Now, this is going to look a little pixelated because it's a lower res file as far as when you're zoomed in. I'm zoomed in at 200%. You can see it down here and I'll show you. Right down here, I'm at 200%. If I were to type 100%, that's how the size should look like. When you're zoomed in, it might look a little muddled or pixelated because I'm zoomed in 200%. Now the image works for this because, you know, obviously I can see it all. And it looks very similar to my ad here. Now, I have to, what I can do, and I'm just opening up my InDesign file now, and I'm just going to copy, do Command C, my headline. I'm going to go back to my Photoshop, and I'm going to take the type tool, and I'm going to click one time on my artboard and do a Command Paste. Now, the only thing that this does not carry over, it carries over the text, but not my fonts. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So it's almost like you're rebuilding this from scratch in a way. So it takes a little bit more of time. Whoops. That. Let me paste this. Select all, and then we're going to change the font. So come forward. I think it was light. And again, this is going to look a little pixelated because I have it zoomed in. You will not be able to get this the same size as you had on your print ad, and you might have to re-break this a little differently depending on how it looks on your ad. So I'm just placing this in just to see real quick here how this looks. If it looks like, you know, it's not going to be easily read at this size, you might need to break it and maybe have 3 lines and make it bigger. So what I mean by that is just make sure it breaks where it makes sense. Nothing gets in the way. Maybe in the way would be broken down of my yoga mat. So I would do something like this if I wanted to get my headline a little bit bigger. Maybe not that big, just so it's more readable. Oh, I probably would bump up of, that looks a little odd there. That's a little bit better. And then of course I would do the drop shadow on this. And drop shadow can be found under layer style here, under layer on your menu. Drop shadow right there. It's always fun when you cross over different software here. I'm going to pull the distance back a little bit, or the size back a little bit. We want it to be a subtle drop shadow. And again, I can kind of play around with this image like I showed you yesterday to rasterize this. If you can't edit your image, it might be a smart object. You'll see like a little icon over top of that. So all you need to do, if you don't want to, the only bad thing, so a smart object is there for a reason, so you don't ruin the original image. But if you want to make changes to it without creating different layer styles, you need to rasterize it. So you'll need to go to Layer, Rasterize, and Smart Object. So you'll see that Smart Object go away when you rasterize it. And then you're able to go in and do the rubber stamp. And let me hide my text here. Kind of like I showed you before. So you're kind of creating more tree area in the areas of the text so that the type is a little easier to read. Let's see. So that is what I would do there. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy, you can type it in too, but I'm just going to copy and paste it because I already have it in here. Copy in my InDesign, go back to my Photoshop, take my type tool, and then obviously this is, oh, it saved my font there, so that's good. And this is a 12 point, which if you think about it, 12 point is actually not too bad for something like this. If it was less than 12 points, I would say, yeah, you might want to make it bigger, but it's actually not too bad for this purpose. Let's go ahead and put a drop shadow on this. I can always pull this down here. Remember how I said you can reorganize your information based on your space, just as long as everything else is similar. You know, I could pull it down here if it's easier to be read here. I'm going to probably pump it up just a little bit. Oh, not that size. Joiner. Let's try 14. There we go. And then the logo is the only other thing I need to place in here. And let's see here. This is where it could be smart to do your logo in Illustrator and place it in here. I did it in InDesign. So I could definitely easily replicate the name, but this little like circle thing might be a little harder to do. So let's go ahead and in Illustrator, I'm going to open up Illustrator. I'm going to replicate this in Illustrator so that I can show you easily how to add it in, or else I'd have to do it in Photoshop, which would be somewhat disastrous here. So go ahead, and if you didn't do an Illustrator, it's probably a good thing to do for purposes of your web ad. I apologize for not doing that yesterday and showing you that ahead of time. I did mention it, but I didn't do it. I just did it all in InDesign. All right, so I'm going to make, I'm just going to do a 4x4 inch square in Illustrator artboard. Okay. And I'm just going to do the logo in here real quick. And mine's really simple, so make this bigger. Just bear with me here. So it is smart to just do it this way. Centers, everything looks good. I'm going to pull this down and meet that one. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to group this and I'm going to center this together. I know I make it look really easy sometimes, and it might take you a little longer. Is that centered? That looks weird. Visually, it doesn't look centered to me. My align tool here. No. Looks like it should be on the left a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to, it looks like it, edit my artboard so it's just kind of a nicely framed logo without having a lot of white space around it. So I'm going to go to my, it's almost like a crop tool for my artboard, and I'm just going to crop this down so it makes sense. That's the same size as my logo here. Okay. And I need this to be white, right? Because I couldn't see it if I was designing it white. So I'm going to just switch this out to be white. Now that I know I like the size, everything looks good, white. And I'm going to save this as Yogi logo. I'm going to save it as an AI file so I can go back and change it if I need to. And then I'm going to save it out as, this is an important step, export as a PNG file. Make sure it's at high resolution. We can change this when we go into the web ad. Obviously, it'll change too. Transparent is important. Click OK. All right, so that being said, let's go back to this area here, and I'm going to place this into my InDesign. So I'm in InDesign. I'm going to take my rectangle frame tool. I'm going to do a file place, and I'm going to place what I just did. My desktop here. This is driving me nuts. I lost all of my options here. Why isn't this showing all of my options? Okay. Started happening recently with my how it's showing here, show import options. For some reason, I can't see all of my options on my left-hand side here. Something's going on with how I'm viewing all of my stuff here. Let's see. Just showing my iCloud, nothing else. That's fun, right? That's always fun. Let's see if we can get this a different way here. Always something. Should just place easily, but of course, there's always something. All right, we're gonna do this. We're going to place this into our area here. I'm just gonna place this ping file right into the IU here. Let's see if I can get it placed in there from here. You shouldn't have that problem. I'm just having issues with my how I see my stuff here. Really? It's not going to show me that. Okay. I'll put it in my folder, I guess. There we go. There we go. All right, let me cancel this out and I'll throw that back in that folder. Can't make it easy, right? Back here. I'm gonna put it in week 3. Whoops, I don't want that. Lovely. Let's see if that works here. Week 3, there we go. Shouldn't be as hard for you guys. All right, so it's placing in there now as a ping file. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Now I just have to get it down to the size that we need it at. So let me show my guides here. Actually, let me get it down to size first. So right about this size is good. That's where I had it. Ungroup my original, and I'm just going to take out this logo completely. And I'm going to pull this one down in its place. I'm going to make it just a little smaller here. But it's, you can see that it's placing as a ping file. There's, it's transparent, so it's good as far as not having a white block behind it. Center it here and then pull it down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. So that's how you would do it. Obviously, if you want to do it in Illustrator is probably the best way to go, and just save it out as a ping. And then that way, place it in your InDesign file for your full page. And then that way you have this ready to go. So when you're creating your full page ads, let me reset my things here. You could go File, Place Embedded, and look for that same ping file, which is in my week 3 folder. Should be. Where is it? There we go. And all you need to do is just kind of size it down. If you hold the Alt Option key in Photoshop, it will size it proportionally while you pull and drag. Hold that Alt Option key down as you drag it. Now again, it's going to look a little pixelated right now because we're at 200%, but You should be good to go as long as it doesn't have that white box behind it. So you can see how that imported nicely in both. Yep, exactly. All right, so now we're going to save. We already saved this as ad 1. So save this. This is your final ad. If everything looks great. Then what you're going to do is you're going to save as, for this first one, a PDF. I'm going to save it to my desktop. You can keep it at high quality modified. That's fine. Everything else is good. Save as PDF. So that's your first ad. So you're going to do everything. What's nice about this is since this is already done, some of this stuff can transfer over to the next ad very easily. Let's get rid of this one because this is your full page ad. And let's get rid of this one. All right, so the next ad, so that's done. The next ad is going to be 336 pixels wide by 280 high. So you're going to go and create a new document all over again. So go File, New, and you're going to do different size here. So 336. Did I say 280? 336 by 280. 280. If I can type right. 280. There we go. Pixels, RGB, all's good. This is your new ratio right here. We're going to name this first. So save as DES243 Assessment 3 Add 2. And make sure it's a Photoshop file so we can change it if need be. Click OK, click OK. And like I said, what's nice about this is we can pull over like the type, for instance, into here really easily. So this is about 5 inches almost wide by 4 inches tall. So let's see if the image goes over well too. This all may convert easily. Let's see. So I'm going to go back to this ad, the working file, so I can see my layers. And I'm just going to shift select all of my layers here. And I'm going to copy it. So Command C. Shift select, you'll see it all highlighted. Shift select after you select the first layer and then shift select down at the very bottom so to select them all. Then you go Command C or edit, copy. Go back to this one and do a Command V or paste. And then you can kind of move it around and see how that's going to work. All right, so I already know I kind of have to resize the image, which is fine, but the type I can work with. So we're going to trash the image. And we're going to remember that this image is almost 5 inches wide by 4 tall. So I'm going to open up that original woman image again. Remember the image that we were working with, not the cup. Let's see here. That we downloaded, the JPEG without sizing or anything. We're going to open that one up again. So always keep the original image. We're going to save this as, girl add to Photoshop before we do any changes. Once you save it as another Photoshop, save it as like add to. Then we're going to image size, change the image size here. So again, resolution 72. And then what we want to worry about here is having at least 4 inches tall. So I'm going to do 4.5, and then it takes it down to 6 3/4. That looks good. And we're going to save as a JPEG again, like we did before, just different size. Week 3. And we're done with that. So close out of that. Go back to this ad again, go File, Place Embedded, and you're going to find that ad 2 that we just saved out as a JPEG to place in there. There it is. We already know it's RGB, so we're good to go. And then we're just going to alt drag this up so that it makes sense for this particular ad. Okay. Now, the only thing is the type needs to be changed, obviously, a lot. It's not fitting really well in here. So we want to make it smaller, the headline. But we want to make sure it's readable too. So let's see if we downsize it to 18. And we could probably change this to be more like the full page ad. So the full page ad, let's go back to that one. Nothing gets in the way. It kind of looks like that. So we can get back to that because it's more wide than it is tall. Now we can get a little bit bigger. Oops, what am I doing? Undo that. That's what we want to change here. That looks pretty good. And probably a little smaller because we still need to add in that other copy, which is right here. Must be way down below here. Here we go. So this, you may find yourself, adding stuff on the right and the left here too, but I think I can get this to work because I can probably downsize this to like 20, get a little bit more space here, and then downsize. This is 14 now, so 12 really isn't too bad. You can still see it. That together a little bit. And again, I have to probably add more contrast there. So I'm going to rasterize the background image. Let me hide the type here. Take my rubber stamp tool. And I'm going to make those changes here. Smaller. Okay. And then the logo, again, is way down here because we made this so much smaller. Probably have to move her a little bit centered here. Now, if the logo is too small, we can make it much bigger and put it on one of the sides here. If we wanted to, we can make it bigger and make it work here. But we have to even it out on the other side. Whoops, what am I doing? Scale. So you can rearrange certain things, just keeping it, and you could even flip this if you wanted to too. So like if you wanted to try to flip this so that, grab just these two layers, see if that works better based on the contrast, you could try that too. Just as long as you have the same elements. Okay. You might also, because these two, so this may work for this and this may work for that, but for web ads, you might want to add like a button of some sort. Like, so maybe join our traveling studio becomes a button. And what I mean by that is maybe it visually looks like a button where you're adding in, like an actual button here. Let me close out of here. I'll have to save this again too. Let me move this layer down below all the other layers. And I'm going to take this little shape tool, which is the rounded rectangle tool. And you could do something like this where you can physically make it look like a button, where you can click on it, make it a different color, make a dark red, where it pops out a little bit more. Or a light red, and then you can physically make it look like an actual button style. You can put like all kinds of neat things in here, bevel and emboss. Just do it slightly though, so it's not so cheesy looking, I guess. So it looks like an actual button. Okay. So, you know, this is what's a little different than your print ad, just a very slight change here, so that you know it's a hyperlink. You don't necessarily always have to put like a physical button looking thing in there. You can even make it look like it's a hyperlink by making it have an underline underneath it, for example. So those are just some tips and tricks for that. Move this up a little bit. You like that button? If I were to move this logo up here, I'll probably put a slight drop shadow on it just because it's a little hard to see, maybe. See how that kind of pops? Here, let me do it a before and after. You'll see it. See how that pops a little bit when I do that? So I'll probably add that there. So just some tips and tricks there to make it look more like an interactive style of a web ad. Now, because I added that, I'm going to export this again as a PDF because I changed some things here. Oh, cancel that. Save as PDF, desktop, add one, replace it. And when I'm done with add two, I'll do the same thing. Photoshop, PDF. And just name them so you know when, you know, they're both different ads. All right, when you're done, go ahead and look at all of your ads together. That might help. Go ahead and open up your PDFs. Now again, they may look a little pixelated because, you know, they are lower res, but open up both of the ads, add one and add two. Cancel this. Okay, that's add one and add two. Make sure everything looks like it's reading right. And then when you're ready to, I want you guys, these are two different PDFs. I want you to combine them together. So go over to Tools, and you want to choose Combine Files. And you're just going to add those two PDFs into this area here. So you can either hit Add Files and find them, or you can slide them over here, right into this board. Drag and drop. When you're done, hit Combined. And it's going to ask you to name, or you'll need to name it. So just do Save As, and this is where you'll give it your final name. So it will be whatever it's specified in the instructions, which is DES243, Assessment 3, first and last name. So when I close out of here totally, this is the PDF that you should have. Let me get rid of this one because I don't need it anymore, and this one. So if I open up this one that I just saved, it should have 2 pages, and I should be able to see both ads in here. That's what you will upload for this assignment. Any questions? I kind of did that quickly, but do you guys have any questions? The only thing that I changed from last lecture was doing the logo in Illustrator, which makes sense for when you go to import it into both programs. Before, I just showed you creating an InDesign, but when you go to import the logo into Photoshop, you have a little bit of an issue possibly with importing it. So that's why it's important to design it in Illustrator, export out as a PNG file. That way you can control a little bit better. Yeah. And typically, Raymond, like you will be bouncing back and forth as a designer between programs all the time. So just getting used to that is super important. You don't want to just always design in one program. You know, there's a reason and a purpose that you use all of the programs that we do. And so it's good to kind of get in that habit of doing so. All right, so we're good to go then. Nobody has questions about what I just covered or comments or assessment 3. I'll make a assessment 3 folder here so I don't lose anything. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, well, you should be. You should be getting more, right, Christina? I don't know what classes you have taken so far, but let's see here. Just one course so far? Okay. Yeah, Photoshop is a beast of a program. It is, like I said, there's so much in there, but it's not that you have to know everything. Just like with every program, it's based on what you want to use it for. So as long as you know the fundamentals and are good at the fundamentals of that program, you're good to go. So just kind of, and when I graduated after my 4 years undergrad, I had no idea. Like I learned a lot just working in the field too. A lot of things that I didn't know about kind of came about learning in the process too. Mm-hmm. I know. And it's like, it's crazy because you think, okay, I'm ready. And you go out there and then you're like, wait a second. I don't know as much as I thought I did. And that's everybody, that's normal. And a lot of the times places will train you. I mean, obviously you need to know, a lot before you take the position, but don't be afraid that you don't know everything because you will learn a lot in your position. As long as you have somebody to take you under their wing as a mentor, that helps too. I know when I got my first job at an ad agency, I worked for a very small ad agency at first, which was great because I could do a lot of different things that I probably couldn't do at a bigger agency. And then my boss, who was the owner and president, kind of took me under her wing and showed me all of the aspects of design, from production to even meeting with a client and press checks. So there was a lot I didn't know about, especially with press checks and working with the printers. I had no idea. Like, we took those classes in design, in my design classes at school, but it's almost like just a window of what you learn. You learn so much more too on your own. So there will be kind of a learning period when you do get a job, that like a learning curve that you have to do too. And that's always the case with everyone. Oh, I'd like to take you under my wing. I'm here for you right now as an instructor. And also outside of class, keep in touch with me, because I've had students come and, who are alumni and ask me questions too. So yep. Even outside of class, which is great. We could all learn from each other for sure. It's something that you need to be used to doing, getting that feedback. I've posted graduate work on LinkedIn, getting feedback, Facebook, all that good stuff. Well, you will definitely get experience and learn during that process. So hopefully you'll make money too during that time. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to open it up to you guys. If you don't have anything to look at, we'll end a little early here, but let me know. Okay. You want to share your screen? Let me stop sharing here and you can. Okay, Christina, cool. I'm going to unmute you. Oh, wait a second. Unmute. There we go. Go ahead, Raymond. All right, so you can see it. Is this this is your full page ad, right?
Yeah, sorry. My allergies have kicked in, so my
Uh-oh.
voice isn't amazing.
That's okay, you're good.
But this is my full page ad.
Okay, great. So you are doing what, just so everybody knows, what magazine you're working on?
Oh, I'm doing the Fit Me.
Fit Me magazine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys go ahead and give them some feedback in the chat area, or I can even unmute your mic here. Actually, let me see if I have that option. It might be better just to unmute everybody. All right. If you want to unmute your mic and talk, you can. If you want to chat, that's fine. I know some people have background noise. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks good? Do you see anything that he can improve upon? Is it readable? Is there a call to action? Now, did you composite this image? How did you find this image here?
Actually, I accidentally found it on Pixabay.
Oh, okay, so that's a one complete image that you found.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that image. Christina said, I think the two fonts on the bottom should be more of a difference. What do you mean, like two different fonts? Is that what you're talking about? I see a spelling error.
Uh,
There you go. I actually don't mind the two fonts. I like the fact that you use like a more of a condensed capital font there. It's nice.
it's actually not two fonts. It's the same font. One's condensed and one is not.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that works for sure. Ski ready. Premium workouts for the slopes. Download the apps today.
I gotta fix that now.
No, I think this worked. Did you do the logo yourself as well?
I did.
Okay, that looks great. The only thing I would say, very small change, is maybe just downsize the image about 10, 15% so you can gain a little bit more space down below. So that you can just have a little bit, it's kind of all, reads together. Yeah.
So if I do that, it's the image is already top to bottom, and there's a color difference between this background versus the stark white.
Okay, I have a trick for you for that.
Oh, hey, I'm all ears.
Okay, so create a box. Click off of that. No, do what you just did.
Oh,
Downsize that. Okay. Now click off of there.
okay.
Now go ahead and take your square tool, square shape in your, and draw this kind of like a 8.5 by 11 square. Okay, and then go ahead and flip it so that your fill and your stroke are opposite. So see in your toolbox at the bottom, there you go, or there.
Oh.
Just flip it. If you hit that little arrow, yeah, it'll flip it. There you go. Now go ahead with that select, cancel. Okay, go ahead and take your eyedropper tool in your toolbox and sample that right underneath the ski ready area. Sample that, click once on it. Okay, now what you want to do is flip those two again so that the fill becomes a stroke and you have no stroke. There, right there. And then go to no for stroke. None for stroke, I should say. Okay, so what that just did is filled it with that same color at the top. Now at the bottom, it's going to be a little darker, right? You can see that line.
Oh. Did
Which
it?
is fine. So I want to show you another trick. select the image. So it's fine on the top now. Now select the image, send to back. So go up to object with that selected and go to arrange, send to back. Oh, you know what? It's the wrong. It's not filled with anything. Is that the square that you made?
No, I don't think it's filled with anything.
Okay. Just select that square in the background again, undo. Not the image, the square. It's okay.
Trying here.
Okay, take the
I gotta
eyedropper.
find it,
Oh,
and I've not been able to find it. Maybe it disappeared.
is that that's the image, right? Excuse me.
This is. Oh, I guess it's not the image.
Yeah,
No.
that's the box. Okay. Select your fill only. So go down below your toolbox and
Yeah.
just switch those. Nope, switch them. So the fill's in the front. Click one time on that. One time, click.
I am. Oh, there
Okay,
you
there you go. There you go. Now take your eyedropper tool and sample again right under where it says ski ready. Okay. That should have changed the fill. Is it changing it?
No.
No, we don't want to fill it with paper. You must not. Here, go up to the selection tool. Cancel that. Go up to the selection tool, which is your, yeah, and hit delete. I just want to see if that's really your square or your image. Yeah, it's your image. Undo that. And we're going to lock that. So go up to object and lock. Let's lock that. Okay. Then take your square. Let's do this again. That way you don't have to worry about selecting the image. Okay. Now see how it just, that's the color you want. So just go to object, send the back. You already have it selected, so good. Or send to back, there you go. Okay, so on the top it's good, see that?
Yeah.
Okay, now what you wanna do is deselect that, so select your selection tool, and at the bottom is what we have to worry about. So click off of there. Now go up to object. Go up to object on your menu bar. We wanna unlock it.
Unlock.
Okay, now you wanna select the image this time. So select the image. And there's a dither tool. I don't know if you know about this, but see where your eyedropper tool is? It's two icons up from that. 1, 2, right there. Gradient feather tool is what it's called. Click on that. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna select, see where that line is at the bottom? Position your cursor right up on top where that line is.
This one?
Yep. Anywhere inside that image. Make sure it's above that line.
Okay.
And you can have it to the right. That's fine, wherever you want. Nope, we're going to go the other way. So undo. You're going to go up, click and drag up. But you want to make sure it's over that line.
Like, just that much?
Yep. See what that does. Oh, undo that. You're going to go the other way. Undo. Click and drag down. It's depending on how you have your fill and your stroke. Okay, go up. See where the bottom, put your cursor at the bottom of the cell phone image. Right there. Go down just a little bit more. Okay, now hold shift and then click and pull that down. There you go. But don't pull it past the line or it won't get rid of it. So undo that. Pull it just above that line. Click right there.
When you say line, do you mean this line?
Yes, the cutoff line. I would say right above where workouts is, right there.
Oh.
See how it disappeared?
Yeah.
So you kind of made it feather out so that line is disappeared. That's a little trick.
Oh, that's cool.
But it only works for one side. That's why I had the top part. You kind of correct it with the color. because the bottom is a little bit more complicated because you have that reflection to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now you have more space down below. So it kind of centers things, it allows things to breathe. It's not all crammed together. I would maybe push up premium workouts for the slopes just a little bit away from the download, just up a little bit. But just, yeah, just there you go. And just center your favicons or align them, I should say. But I think that looks good.
Cool.
And yeah, so I think it's all very balanced and has better white space around it. Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah. I like how you unified the color of the coat with the top banner.
Yes.
You could try to make the black type that color of the Alpine logo, that nice teal blue, to make it unified a little bit more. Maybe just the premium workouts for the slopes becomes that color. That way you kind of unify it a little bit better. There you go. And differentiate the bottom with the, yeah, that looks good.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
good job. So your challenge will be, how do you make this into your 2 web ads? But I think you're good because you don't have as many elements either.
I wanted to keep it simple for that reason.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Or else you'd be like smacking yourself. You'd be like, why did I do
Yes.
this? For those of you who are designing the full print ad, you might want to definitely just use one focal point image, because if you're using a whole bunch of images, it might become a nightmare when you convert it. Not saying that it can't be done, but it's a little bit more simple when you keep it with minimal elements.
Okay.
Good job. Excellent.
Thanks.
Is that all you have to share then? Is that?
That's all. I didn't continue on with the assessment. I wanted to make sure that all of these pieces were good first before I actually put those together.
All right. That looks great,
Yeah.
though. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, good job. Like I said, we can all learn from each other and be inspired by one another. So it's great to share your work if you have some work to share. All right. Anybody else want to share their stuff? Not yet? Okay, Christina, you're good. Good job, Raymond. Thank you for sharing. Everybody else is quiet. Okay, you want to be next? Awesome. All right, so I'll stop sharing. If you want to turn your mic on, you can. I'll unmute you here. Hello, Cheyenne. How are you?
Exhausted.
Uh-oh. That was me yesterday.
Well, I work a night shift plus having insomnia.
Oh no, that's not good.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we can help you out here and get some rest.
So I'm stuck on assignment 2. I know we're past it, but I am stuck.
That's okay. We'll help you out here.
I can't get, so ignore me.
You're good. We can see your screen now.
So it's this, like the second page. I can't get all the text to fit on either page 7 or on this. Obviously, it needs to go on not page 6. And I don't know what to do. Now my thing doesn't want it. There we go.
Okay, so this is page 3. Okay, so you're saying your editorial isn't fitting from page 2 to page 7.
I know. I've tried making like different boxes, and I've tried separating them. I've done trying to make the font smaller. I've changed fonts. I've changed everything. It's still not fitting.
You're talking about your feature article or your editorial article?
This one.
Okay, so let's go to your style guides. Let's take a look at your body copy here first. And go to basic, yeah. All right, I would drop that down to 10 and 14 leading. Size 10, that's pretty big at 12, and then 14 leading. Click OK. And all body copy should change to that. So whatever body copy changed there should change in your feature, I'm sorry, your editorial as well.
Yeah.
So you should only have one body copy style.
Yeah, I just went from week 1's. I don't want to attempt to copy things and mess things up, so I just went from that. So that's why there's the 2's and stuff.
Okay, so let's eliminate one of the body copies. So the body copy above that, let's eliminate that. Let's go.
If I do that, it'll erase it from
That's
this one.
what you want. That's what you want. You want all your body copy to be consistently the same.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So that should be the same as that one. Okay, good. All right, so now go back to your feature, and you'll need to adjust some things in your editorial because you changed that, and that's fine. That's just what you have to do. What I would say, go ahead over to page 3. See that a little bit? There we go. I would say, let's see what you got going on here.
I don't know.
Okay, so you have several text boxes here, and I'm not sure if they're all linked. Can you select your first copy box, the column there? The first one says start with the right attitude.
I'll start with the right attitude. Nope.
Okay, see what's happening here is as a reader, I would want to start right there reading, but that's not really where you need to start, right? You need to start over to the right. So typically our eyes go from left to right. So what I would do is pull that column all the way off of the artboard to the right. Pull that all the way to the right. All the way off. Pull it just to get it out of the way. Pull it off to the right. There you go. And I would switch that so the image is on the left, and I would align that to your purple margin, not that blue one. See that purple? Yeah, good. And then pull everything else over to align with it. Good. Make sure that that's also hitting your purple margin. And then pull that width, before you do that, pull that width of that box so that's the same width as your box of your image, your headline. There you go. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to show you a way to do that a little easier. Can you go ahead and delete those little dots down there? I'm going to show you an easier way to do that so you can do it very quickly and easily. So go ahead and take your line tool in your toolbox and draw a line from the left margin to your right, and hold down the shift key when you do that so it's a straight line to the right purple line, if that's where you want it to go. Okay, and then see where it says stroke on the right-hand corner of your screen in the appearance? Change that, let's see here. See, there's a straight line. It says 1 point, and then there's a line drop-down menu. Go up where it says stroke. And then right to the right of that says 1 point, that right there. Click on that and hit the dots. And then just increase your point size for the bigger dots, not the corner size. That's okay. There you go. See how much easier that is?
Yes.
So then you can always adjust the width of it if you want to by holding shift key and choosing the selection tool. Okay, I just wanted to show you that real quick. All right, so now my eye goes right to the image, right to the headline. I would pull the subhead up a little bit towards your headline. There you go. And I would make your byline the same width, your byline, so it says by Leslie Carlisle. I would get rid of that blue. I'm not sure what that blue line is for.
What blue line? Oh, this?
Yeah, I would get rid of that. Just select it and yeah, there you go. Just hit delete. It's just, oh, wrong one. It's just getting in the way of your alignment on your margin. There we go. Select your byline. So your by Leslie Carlisle. I would pull that up a little bit. Make it the same width as your columns above. There you go. And then what I would do is pull everything down. So shift select that with your subhead and your headline. Shift select them all together. So you can move them all together. Shift select, hold down shift. Oh, don't. No, all you have to do is shift select. So shift select your headline too. So you're selecting them all as a group. Click right on that headline. Just a shift key. Select that. There you go. Now use your arrows on your keyboard to just bump them down. Don't use your selection tool. Just bump them down when using your good. Pull that down until I tell you to stop. Keep going, keep going. Right about there is good. Now you can pull down your image a little bit so it's a little bit further down. Scroll up so we can see the top there. And you can pull that up to meet the margin on the top. The middle box of your image, you can pull that up to the purple line. And then you want to go up to object with that image selected. And then go to fitting and fill frame proportionally. There you go. Okay. Now I would do the same thing with the copy on the right. Select that copy margin on the right and pull that to the very top. Just pull it up so it meets up there. Good. All right, scroll down just a little bit. And what you want to do is pull that box up just slightly. So select that box again and pull it up so that that line disappears and it's parallel to aligning with the box on the left. There you go. Okay. Now I would adjust your bullet point copy. Did you create a style for that? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Oh, you did. Okay. So select the bullet point copy that you have in your, cancel that, in your type itself with your type tool.
To do what?
Just select that first bullet point and scroll all the way down to select all of that copy. And now, does it go to the next page? It should.
Yes.
So let's see.
I think.
Do you have those linked properly?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the end? I'm not sure if that's the end of the bullet points or not.
I'm not seeing anymore.
Okay. Zoom out real quick. There we go. Okay. Go up again and just make sure that those are linked properly. And if they are, zoom in a little bit. You know, whatever copy was down there should be linked to your next page. Okay, so now we're going to go to style sheets again. And we're going to double click on your body copy. Oh, this should be your bullet copy. Cancel that. Okay. Pull that aside a little bit so we can see it being changed as we do this. So pull it to the side just a little bit so we can see it. There we go. All right. What we want to do is, do you have tabs or indents in here? Okay.
Yes.
Pull those to the, let's pull those to the left a little bit and see how that works, that first tab there.
This one?
Yep. Okay, that's perfect right there. And then pull the other one closer to that one again. We just want to make sure that that's not too, oh, go up again, up in that bar, too far apart. Go a little bit left, right there. Perfect. Okay, now click OK. Or click off. There you go. Click OK. We're just setting that so you have more space. All right, that looks good. Now go down to the next page. You might want to hit save to save this. Now, the one thing that I noticed that is going on here, well, you have to save this. Did you save it as our the file name, just to make sure you know where it's at? Okay, just make sure you save it as the file name. Okay, so pages above these two need to be your pages, next pages. So what you need to do is shift what you have here onto the top two pages, if that makes sense. So
right here.
Yeah, your page numbers, 4 and 5 should be what you have on 6 and 7.
That makes more sense now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So just shift that up. That's okay.
I was like, there's no way that much text is going to be able to fit on 2 pages.
Well, it should be a 4-page feature. See, that's why we're meeting today. This is all makes sense, right? So go ahead and pull that up to page 4, what you have on there.
Okay.
There you go. And just make sure it fits in those margins. It looks like it's a little off, so just make sure all of your text box good. All right, and then.
Well, then I want to change that back to a 2 thing instead of a. Where did it go? There we go.
Yep, so you can change that. Cancel that. Cancel that. You have to select it with your selection tool first.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
And then hit your. Okay, thanks, Raymond. Sorry. And then what you're going to do, click off of there, create a new text type box and put it on that page 5. Just drag it out. You can change there you go. And then select your first column and link those two together. There you go. There you go.
Then what about this page?
And that page as well. So you have a lot of room to place in more images, your pull quotes. You need to have 2 pull quotes. So go ahead and make another text box on page 6. Like you just did. I would get rid of those blue guides. I'm not sure what they're for. Just so they're not screwing you up when you're done here. And then I would link, the one that you just made, link that to that one. So click on page 5 box first. And then click on that little white box on the lower right-hand corner. It's like the bigger box. Click on that. And then click on the new box that you just created. There you go. Now they're linked. So whatever you change above will kind of flow into those boxes. You just can't see the text because there's no text in there yet. So you can make certain images bigger. You could put a big image on your double page spread, for instance, and all that copy will flow around it if you have a text frame, text wrap on it. Okay, and then page 7, which scroll down, should be a continuation of page 2.
Yes.
Yes. So there you go. Just make sure that copy is the same size, point size, and lighting as all the other copy above.
Okay.
Yep. So if you know what pull quotes are?
Nope.
So Christina just posted in the chat, pull quote is something that states that is in your article you want to pull out and make bigger, to make it highlighted so that people can read it first.
How do you tell if they're pulled quotes or not?
So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let me share my screen. And I showed this in lecture too. So if you want to just review that again, you can go ahead and watch how I did that. Okay, so on my screen, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Probably can't see what I'm showing here though yet. Hold on. So pull quotes are just 2 quotes that you're going to pull outside of the article. So you'll just copy and paste it in and repeat it. So right here is a pull quote. So I copied that. See this pull quote here? Keep your house stocked. See that here? I copied that over here. This is from your actual article.
Oh.
So I'm just pulling it. I'm copying it and pulling it over here. I'm just making it big so people can look at that and say, ooh, I want to find out more about this. So that's 1. You have to have 2, and this is the second one here. And then obviously position it. It kind of has to do with this part here. Position it so that it makes sense with the area that it's in.
Yeah.
So I forget where I pulled this from here. Oh, right here. This is the pull quote that I took out here for this one. And
Does
then
it matter where you pull it from, or?
No, it has to be in the feature article somewhere, and it has to, obviously be something that makes sense for the area that you're pulling it out of. And it should be like a something interesting, and it shouldn't be really super long. Like I wouldn't do a whole paragraph because you're going to make it bigger like this. You're going to make it stand out. So you don't want it to be like this very wordy. This is kind of long, but it's not too bad for this area. So I would say like a simple sentence to pull it from.
Okay.
And just treat it differently than the rest of the types so that, you've probably have seen these in publications where you see the quote first and it pulls you into the article. But that's kind of what they're used for.
Okay.
And then just an FYI, just so you can see here, page 2 looks really different than my feature article. So it's a nice differentiation. My elements are changing. My background color changes a little bit so that I know that my editorial is going from page 2 and not really continuing, right? It's going from page 2 to 7. So visually, I can see it's different. I'm adding different elements to my feature versus my editorial. I'm also adding these tabs up here, which you can add too. So I have an editorial tab and a feature tab so that it's an additional supportive visual to the viewer to know what they're looking at. Okay, so that it's a challenge because you're definitely going to be, depending on the image size that you're putting in here, you're going to be balancing your type with your image. Try to make the double page spread more visually interesting and not all copy heavy. So it's kind of copy heavy on the right here, but I have a nice feature on the left that kind of balances it out.
Okay.
So it's not all just copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can make the other images smaller like this to make your type fit. That's fine. I would say at least have, one medium and maybe one larger one. Try to fit that in there. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. So now you know that the pages will fit now, right?
I thought I was just thinking for like page 3 and 6. I was like, I don't know how that's going to work.
Yep. So that was just because you had the page switch ups, which I'm glad we took a look at that and fixed that, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Did you want to show anything else on yours, or are you good to go?
I'm good.
All right. I'm so glad we could help you. I was like, just come in, we'll help you.
Well, when you said critique, I thought you guys were just going to be judging my work, so I started panicking.
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't think that's the right word for it, but
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I should say
I don't think you
that.
understand what I'm wanting to do.
I'm like, no, come on in.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want my work to get criticized that badly.
No. It's hard to do something like this. So just getting used to getting that feedback. I should say feedback more than critique. So I apologize. But
Oh, good. Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Because all my other teachers, like the moment I email them, they're like, oh yeah, let's set up like a one-on-one. So I was like, okay, let's set up a one-on-one. Yeah. And so when you're like, just join the live session, I was like, what?
Yeah, you were a little worried. That's okay. I can do one-on-one sessions. Usually my schedule, it depends on my schedule. But I just thought since we had time, I knew we were going to have time today. And if you were available, that it would work. So that's kind of always like, well, if you can come in.
Like, wow.
All right. Well, if you have any other questions, let me know.
Alrighty.
So hopefully that'll kind of get you started again and going forward.
And hopefully catch up so I could pass the class.
Oh, you'll be fine. Next week we'll be focusing on getting everything together anyway, so you'll have a little bit more time to get stuff done.
Alrighty. Was it okay that I did like the assignments on like the same thing, or were you only on like different sets?
If you, whatever you complete, just upload what you have. So like, say you go forward with this one and you have your extra pages in there, that's fine. Just submit it for what you need to submit it for.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you.
Good luck going forward. You're welcome. No problem. Okay, Mackenzie, did you have anything you wanted to show?
No, definitely not.
Do you have any questions or?
A bunch, but I don't want to hold everybody up. And I saw somebody else needed help. I would love to just maybe, if you do have time, meet or even email would be cool. I just kind of wanted to actually be present so you knew I was real and not a robot.
Okay, very good. Questions about the assignment?
Yeah, but like week 1. So I don't want to bog down your time.
No,
when
no,
people
no,
are
no.
doing
You're
stuff.
good. This is a perfect time because class is over.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, did you already take care of whoever said, can I be next?
Yep. Everybody else is gone, so you're the only one.
Okay, so it's just us.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're
and I've been listening and watching, but I wasn't paying attention to who.
okay.
Okay, so I got to pull it up here.
Okay.
Zoomtopia? What is that? Did you see that ad?
What's that?
There's an ad on my computer for Zoomtopia Zoom user conference.
I don't
Like
know.
the page that's up that says you've been connected on an outside app. I don't know. It's weird. Never mind.
Sorry. I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see that.
Oh, okay. Well, it might help. This is 243, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it might help if I was worried about the correct class. I already took the class. I already took this last time, and this was one of the only assignments I got done because of the same reasons I'm behind this time. But I can send you the thing I did last time so you can check it out, and I'll redo it because of the copyright thing. But see if I've, because I don't remember getting feedback for it because I was so late with it.
Okay. Did you just double check to see if you did get feedback?
Okay. I'll have to go into that. So it's going to take me just a tiny bit longer.
No problem. No problem.
So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Need some more coffee, I think.
Oh my God, me too. I can feel it in
Even
my
the
forehead.
afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just waking up still, but it's already in the afternoon. I guess maybe I'll have some lunch to help me out here.
Yeah, I find, I either eat too much or not enough, and either.
Right.
Okay, this is the assignment. No, why did I click on the discussion? That doesn't help me. Sorry.
You're good.
Where are you located anyway?
I'm in Pittsburgh. Lovely
Oh,
Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from, but I've lived all over. I've lived in Ohio. I've lived in Florida. Don't ask me why I moved back here from Florida. Where are you at?
Indiana.
Okay.
So super, super cold, super.
Windy.
I love it though. And if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's how it was in Ohio.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
It was like I experienced a summer day, sunny summer day, storm, and then a snowstorm all within like 2 minutes.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's definitely the Midwest for you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think I found it. No, I did not get any feedback. I actually ended up sending it to my teacher through email, and I don't think I got a reply. I can't find one readily. Doesn't mean he didn't, but I can't find one readily.
Okay. Are you talking about this class? You're not talking about this class.
Well, I'm talking about this class. The last 2 mods, I've failed both my classes because I haven't prioritized correctly. So when this mod started, I got in this class. That's why I was late getting in, because I called my advisor and I was a little worried about not having enough credit to be able to keep getting financial aid. And if I can't keep getting financial aid, then I gotta stop until I can again.
Okay. I gotcha. All right. So you are in my 3rd section.
And I can send you what I did for the other class and then still redo it, because I know how that goes with the copyright, or you know what I mean.
So you still owe from week 1, assignment 1 and assessment 1, and then from last week 2. Okay. Do you have anything that you want to show from week 1 or week 2?
I do have the week 1 assessment that I can send you. Does it let me attach things in the Zoom program?
You can share your screen and just show it.
Okay. I got to find it.
Okay.
Because I was looking through my email and didn't find what I needed.
So you're saying you already have that done?
From last time, yes. I figured I'd have to redo it.
Okay. I gotcha.
The assessment is what I have done. I should have the assignment too, but I'm not finding it at the moment. So I'm at least grabbing the assessment for you to check out.
Okay.
And I'm sure whatever I turn in will look very similar to this, if not the exact same. I'll probably change topics so that it's like not even worried about that it's the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm starting a new business and I've been all consumed with it, and everything has gone gone back burner big time.
Okay. What business or what kind of business?
Well, graphic design.
Oh, okay.
I know, right?
There
I know.
you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of not just graphic design. It's pretty much what you want to put designs on, because we're doing vinyl, screen printing, signs, stickers, t-shirts, decals, embroidery. And I've been so fixated on doing all of that. By the time I get home, I'm just drained at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I have a 3-year-old.
Oh, I have a 5-year-old, so.
Okay, you know then.
Yeah, the 3s. They always say the terrible 2s, but I think the 3s could be a little worse.
Oh, she's a 3-nager. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, I finally.
Well, let's get you going so you're on the right track and you can get at least your degree so that you can get going here, right?
Yeah. I think I actually do have both of them done, but we'll just have to see. I can do this screen thingy now, but I've never done it before. So how do I do it?
Okay. So position your cursor, I think, on the top. Just see if anything pops up saying share.
Let me make it full screen. I have a little red window that says share, join audio, and invite others.
Yep. Just hit share.
Okay.
And whatever you have on your desktop, just click on your desktop once you hit share.
Okay.
There you go. And I can see you I can see your screen now.
Okay, good. So do you want to see the assignment or the assessment first?
Whatever you want to show me.
Okay.
And you got feedback from the first time you took this class.
I didn't find it, but there's a very good chance.
Oh, okay.
I
All
think
right.
where I
So,
put actually on this.
did you watch the lectures yet from this class?
Not from this, oh, there we go. Not from this go around, but that was on my agenda today because I'm weeding stickers, which is where you take the insides out, and it's perfect for me to be able to actually sit and watch stuff, but still be working.
Okay. So I would suggest you start there first. I'm going to kind of show you a couple things, but I don't want to go through everything because everything's in the lecture. I do it like a step-by-step demo of everything.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not trying to be disrespectful or
no,
not
you're good. You're good.
or anything like that.
I'm just saying like that's where I would start because I do like the step-by-steps and repeating myself probably isn't like
No, and it's not the best use of your time. So
right. So let me just do me a big favor here. Scroll or zoom in on page 2 real quick. I just want to see something. Click on the page number. Can you click on that page number? Okay, so that's a good thing. So you have the master pages started. So
Yeah.
what you need to do when you watch lecture 1, I show you how to start your folio, but you got a good start because you know how to put that on the master page. You're just going to add a couple more elements to your folio, which is the date and the name of the magazine. So that's something that you have to do.
This might be from the first week. I think I might have the second week where you add some folio and stuff too.
Yeah, so the second week you're just going to add like the logo, but
I thought I had a version of this where I did have maybe that's it, where I did have some of the stuff that, yeah.
oh, there you go. Okay. So you just have to get your stuff together so that your whatever file that you're working in is the most updated, right? There you go. Okay. So this is the file that you should probably be working in because it has the updated stuff.
Yeah, because this is as far as I got that time around. And the assessments.
Just make sure everything's consistent. I would probably make that logo smaller for that area too at the bottom.
Okay. It's, my thing is gone. My little toolbar is gone because the Zoom control thing's in the way. Okay,
Oh.
there we are.
Yeah,
I
it'll
see.
disappear eventually. It's a pain.
This smaller?
Yeah, and you'll have to go in your master's to do that. But yeah, I would definitely go back and listen to the lecture. And then if you have any questions, let me know from there. But now that I know where you are, you know, it's just taking that time to do this,
Yes.
to upload it. So that,
that's why I didn't want to bug you if you were like, oh, other people here, because since I am behind, I didn't want to take away from their stuff.
I don't mind critiquing and giving you suggestions. I just didn't want to walk through the whole thing over again.
No. I never expected that of you. That's why I wasn't going to share anything. I kind of just wanted to show so that you would know I was serious about the class since I hadn't before.
So what's your plans for getting in your week 1 and 2 work as of now?
Well, today is a super light day at work, and I'm going to probably just go back and start at the lectures and watch while I'm doing this stuff. And then by the time both are done, I should be able to actually get the assignment.
Okay. So take out like, you know, do a lecture at a time, maybe do the first 2, try to get those in today from week 1. And then maybe tomorrow, if you have time, do the other 2 from week 2.
Yes, so then by Wednesday, I'll be ready and I'll be able to do the discussion for week 3.
Yeah, if you can do that.
Yes,
That would be
I'm so tired of always being behind. It's kind of my my character flaw. If I was a superhero, it would be my worst weakness. I'm probably just like Hancock, except less vulgar.
Well, I think it's important to prioritize. I know it's important for you to get, you're excited about getting the extra freelance work and getting that kind of set up. But the idea behind getting your degree, I think should be more important, right? Because
yes, definitely.
that's really what's going to carry you and open up more doors for you.
I just had a lot of pushback from people around me. And I've been strongly encouraged to push everything else aside. And it's been very hard for me to still find the energy at the end of the day after dealing with all the crap I've been dealing with.
Oh, I know. Trust me, it's life, and then you have a kid and all that stuff. So I think just prioritizing certain things for this week
Yes.
will help you balance. And the whole idea is feeling overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, forget it.
Well, and then it adds to the depression and anxiety, which just
Right.
root you to the spot.
So one step at a time, let's make small goals. So by the end of this week, let's watch all
thought-
those lectures and at least try to get week 1, possibly week 2 done.
How do people find time? Well, first I want to say it is very important for the degree because I've seen some work recently that was from somebody who is. Can you hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I kind of have to be quiet because it echoes and I'm at work and I don't want anybody overhearing me and getting me in a whole new crap heap of trouble. Oh no, but I feel like. Anyway, I've seen some stuff that is not so great, and she is a self-taught graphic designer, and it is very obvious after these classes that I have been in.
Oh yeah, you'll see a lot of that out there.
But I still
It'll make you mad because the software is accessible to anyone. There's people who are lawyers that are trying to design that shouldn't be. So you're going to see a lot of that out in the real world. But because you're going to school for this, that makes the difference. So we are always fighting bad design.
Exactly. And I'm hampered because when I do want to, sometimes I do take a little too long and I'm still working on that, but I'm also still in school. I just get hampered by that because they're like, oh, that just takes too long. And I'm like, look how much better it looks. Doesn't matter. Just do it this way. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that's, you always have people that don't understand the process either. So, and as a beginner designer, you're going to take a little bit more time, but the process is important. So if they respect you as a designer, they should respect that you need to take some time on it.
Oh, well, at this point, they don't respect anything about me, but there's nothing I can do right now.
No.
Yeah.
See, well, that's why you need to finish your degree, and then other doors will open.
And that's exactly why I'm trying to take the time now to do that.
Hear you. Listen, I hear you. I've been in positions like that before. So just kind of hold strong and get through your goals.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So that you can better position yourself. And this can be temporary.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Before I went off on that little tangent, the other thing I wanted to ask was, how do people schedule their, how do they find the time to, because I love watching all the lectures and the LinkedIn or Linda or articles and stuff. They are all so invaluable. And watching the lectures, there's so many tiny little tips and tricks. Like I had Craig Stokes for my last class, and he's great. And his lectures are amazing too, because he's just like, oh yeah, this is called this. And it was just like little things, like an arrow in InDesign that existed in the toolbar that I had no idea what it was called. And I can't remember, so not a good example, but just cool stuff like that. And I love it, but it's just finding the time to do all of it and watch all the extracurricular stuff. I'm having a very big problem.
Well, yeah, and that stuff you just have to prioritize. You can't get to everything. So I think for you, because you're kind of like me, where when I get out overwhelmed, I just don't want to do anything. I think you just need to set smaller goals and then fit stuff in the cracks of time. And that's what I do. I fit things in the cracks of time. When my kid's falling asleep, I say, okay, I'm going to watch this short little video, and then I'll go on to something else in my life.
I kind of feel guilty when I turn things in, only having done enough to understand the assignment and the assessment. So that's why I end up turning nothing in, because for me, it's very all or nothing.
All or nothing. Yeah, you're like me. You have to have it all perfect. But it's not all about that. You have to get stuff in order to go forward.
I know. I just feel guilty when I turn that stuff in, and all I've learned is just the bare minimum when I'm
don't let
ignoring.
You're listening to your inner thoughts more than anything. So just kind of try to quiet that. And I mean, something is better than nothing, right?
Yeah, it is. I need to do that. And I really appreciate your understanding and your patience. And that's just the place I'm coming from. It's not that I can't or I'm not exceedingly capable. It's just I don't feel like it's right to turn anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I already went up, you know. So I will try to get over that and at least get something in.
So let's set a goal for you this week.
Okay.
And then you can feel good, and then we'll go forward from there, hopefully. So this week, like you said, today you're going to focus on the first 2 lectures, right? That's
Yes.
a 4-hour time frame, so just try to squeeze that in somehow.
Right.
Once you hear that, go and because you already have stuff completed. So once you listen to that, it should be smooth going. So just keep working. And then on the next day, tomorrow, try to watch the other 2. And then by Friday, let me know where you are.
Okay.
Okay. If you got work done and you completed it and you submitted it, let me know. Let me know if you watched the 4 lectures. And then we'll go from there with the next goal.
Okay. Thank you so much. You guys have
You're
all been
welcome.
amazing. I've had such great experiences with the teachers, and
Hey, I'm here for you. I'm not here to just be like, oh, you fail or you pass. I'm here for you. I want you to have, this is a good experience for everybody. So like, I want you to do well, and I want to guide you wherever you need to go and help you in any way.
well, you're awesome, and I appreciate it.
And I know exactly what you're feeling when you're overwhelmed because I've been there.
No.
I have to do small goals or else I'm not doing anything. So I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And small goals, right? So hit me up on Friday. Let me know where you are with our goals, the 4 lectures, and completing possibly the 1-2 work. Let me know where you are with that.
I will.
Okay?
All right. I'm going to go start watching that lecture now while I finish up some stickers.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I hope your day goes well from here on out.
Well,
All right. Have a good one.
you too. Bye.
Peace.